Hi, I'm Christopher Boucher, Senior Administrative Analyst with Mariposa County Health and Human Services. One of my responsibilities is making sure that we have a group of well-trained and ready-to-go medical volunteers, not just for COVID, but any other type of future emergency. Okay, so what I'm going to do is review how you register on the state website. That's the California Health Corps website, also known as Disaster Healthcare Volunteer Registration, DHV for short, registration website. So there's two reasons why you'd be going there. Number one, say you've heard that you need to go to this website to register, so you just go and you register, and then once you're all done, I could, if you're in Mariposa County, I can go and see that you're available. Let's say you have a skill set that we're in need of, and then I would be contacting you. Now, the other reason you'd be going to this website would be we solicited people who want to be medical volunteers. We have some of your information, and one of the last steps is we need to have you fill out the registration with the Disaster Healthcare Volunteer Registration Database. Either way, we have to use this website, and it's a nice standardized method of having medical volunteers that are available within a certain county or what they call organization. Okay, so we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going to review the steps required to register in the California Health Corps website. So the first thing is we want to make sure that we're at the right website, and this is the healthcarevolunteers.ca.gov, healthcarevolunteers.ca.gov. And when you go to this website, whether you're searching in your favorite search engine or you put it into the address bar in your browser, make sure that you go to the website that is just like this one. You may have some extra scripting past the slash, and that's okay, but it needs to be the secured website that is healthcarevolunteers.ca.gov to make sure that you're at the right one. So the other thing is you can click not registered, and if you don't already have registration, you click not registered, and then if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's another button that says register. So either way, you can register. So that's step one. Okay, then this website uses what they call organizations. So I went through this and I took screenshots of the steps when I set this up before I became the administrator for one of the administrators for Mariposa County. So what you do is you go in and they say add organizations, and what they mean is add kind of like the districts or types of events that you would be interested in volunteering for. So there's all the counties that are set up in California that are in there. So once you click on add organizations, you'll see a list of all of the counties in California, and you'll see COVID-19 response. So I selected COVID-19 response. I checked it, and then I checked Mariposa County Unit. So they call that a county, Mariposa County Unit. Those are the organizations. You could pick Merced County as well. You could pick whatever other county you want. You don't have to be in the Central Valley or Mariposa area to benefit from this video. So I chose COVID-19 in Mariposa County Unit. And then I clicked OK. Okay. Next step, so that's add organizations, that's step 2. The next step is add account information. So this is where we do our username, password, confirm password, secret question, secret answer. So these are all required. So your username, it's a basic username, and I don't think they let you use your email. It has a bunch of symbols that they won't let you put in. So it has to be a basic username. And then your password, and it has to match. And over to the right, I cropped it off, but there's a set of criteria that your password needs to abide by. And then a secret question. This is something that only you know, or you or your spouse know, but normal people can't figure it out. So things such as mother's maiden name, usually it's like street you grew up on, your first pet, something like that. So put that in there, and it makes it easier to recover your password. So then step 4, it says check the terms of service and information pledge. So it says terms of service. You can read the terms right there. You click on it and you have to check that one. And then information pledge, you have to check that one. The information pledge is a pledge saying that you're not putting junk information in. The last thing people want to do if they need people to staff a alternate care site because of COVID-19 is have a bunch of data that's no good that says people want to volunteer when they don't. That's just wasting people's time. Okay, I'm sure you guys don't want to do that. Okay, so we move on to step 5, name and address, basic stuff that you've probably filled out in a web form before. So name and address, you need the last name, first name, and then a basic address, and that's all it is. Work state, California, most likely. They must have this database for other states as well, or something very similar. So email information, you have to put in an email address that you're going to check. And because you may, somebody like me that works for Mariposa County, once you set this up, I may contact you by email, especially if you put down that that's your preference. So your email address, and then make sure that you confirm your email address. And then it says contact method. So this is step 7. So contact information. So put in the way that you want to be contacted. I just happened to put in on mine SMS text message, so I'll be texted on my phone. And then step 8, occupational information. This is where you put in your skill set. And I've been an EMT for a long time, so I just put in my EMT information. Okay, and step 9, professional license. This is where you'd put in if you're take for instance maybe a if you're a doctor, you have a say medical board license, or physician assistant, other things such as that. They actually have a license versus a certification. So you put that all in here. Okay, step 10, registration feedback. You can always give the state feedback if you had a hard time with the website or something like that. Theoretically, they will fix it. And I say theoretically because I don't know how where that feedback goes. Okay, let's see. So we had a register. Okay, and then volunteer opportunities. So volunteer opportunities. There's 2 things here, and I had to research this so I could give you more information on it. MRC is called Medical Reserve Corps, so it must be a little bit different than the registration that we're filling out. And then the other thing is CalMAT. And MAT I have heard of before because of EMS, so it's Disaster Medical Services, and it's more of a more like when the World Trade Center was attacked, where they would send people to do search and rescue type of medical services in that regard. So it's a little bit different than what we're looking for. But you can sign up for that as well if you'd like to be contacted for that. Some people are big into search and rescue and things like that, so that might be up their alley. Okay, step 13. So what we do is we click the next button, and the next button is kind of like the final step. So we click the next button, and then it brings us to this page where it says attention required, but it looks like we thought we were almost done, but we're not quite done. So it says, congratulations, you are now registered for the Disaster Healthcare Volunteers of California. So that's a good thing, right? So we got past the basic registration, but we're not done yet. So if we look at this, I wanted to highlight this because this is the issue, and this is the first video of possibly more videos. But I at least wanted to get you to this point where you know that you need to put in more information. So I highlighted this part and blew it up because this is right after I went in there, right after I registered. It says 57% complete, and that's what this says right here. It's a little bit hard to read it when it's blown up, but it's only about halfway done. So you go in there and you do the identity. So they ask for a couple things here. I'll just read it off. It says your name, current address, physical characteristics, and ability to operate a licensed motor vehicle. Well, that could be important depending upon what type of role you're doing in your volunteer capacity. So it says deployment preferences, your availability for deployments, activity preferences for deployments, and existing emergency response commitments. So that's good information to know. Then it says contact, your contact information and emergency contacts for use during deployment. Okay, so more contact information. Then it says occupation. It says your professional experience. It says EMT. Credentials are the formal qualifications you possess and are verified by the system. So it needs a little bit more attention on the EMT. Maybe it needs me to take a photocopy or a screenshot or a picture of my EMT certification. And then it says training, your completed training courses. Okay. A lot of volunteers do different like ICS type of courses and different types of training, first aid, CPR. So that might be, well, actually, it's probably the ICS, and the next step is still skills and certifications. It says your expertise to be considered for deployment eligibility and prior deployment history. So if you're experienced with this, I knew one guy years ago who did a lot of search and rescue, so he would put on here his experience history. And then it says medical history, your health conditions that may affect deployment eligibility, and your vaccination history. Well, if you have a disability, there might be some things that you can do with volunteering and some things that you can't, and that's okay. So, but you want to tell people so that they're not assigning you to the wrong position. And then the other thing is your vaccination history. So that's important. If you're sent somewhere to take, for instance, South America, they may want you to have, take, for instance, yellow fever or certain other, or typhoid or other types of vaccines. And we're just about done with this part of it. So the big thing that I want to point out is we're only 57% complete. It's going to be different for different people, but this is only the first phase. So you make sure that you know what your login information is. You make sure that you're able to, of course, get back into the website and you get your information and you click through each of these, and the tabs are actually up here. Or you can click on them down the side and you go and you update that, and it makes it so somebody that's on the administrative side, such as me, can look at it and actually see a better picture of what the volunteer has to offer. So once again, I want to say thank you for volunteering. I know that going through this website takes a little bit of time. The initial registration took me maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but I was taking screenshots and trying to prepare for doing the training. But then once you get inside, there's other things that you need to do, as I pointed out, the 57% complete part. So I would set aside an hour or two just to make sure that you have everything in there. If you have any questions that's specific to Mariposa County, you can call us at 209-966-2000. Or go to the mariposacounty.org website, and there's more information there. Now, if you have other questions that are not Mariposa specific, I wouldn't be the best person to ask the questions of. I would follow up with California on that database specifically. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the future. Hopefully not necessarily volunteering in a real life experience, but maybe preparing for one. So thank you.